Hey guys, Ben from Aussie Living Homes. Now today I wanted to share with you the 5 biggest mistakes that I see first home buyers making. Mistake number 1. Now you need to find out what you qualify for before you actually start looking at options. Now I see a lot of first home buyers making this mistake because they jump straight into the exciting side of things and they start picking the homes and saving floor plans and planning how the home is going to look before they actually know what they can spend. It's kind of like going shopping with a credit card, but you don't know what the limit is. There's really no point to it. So please make sure you check your borrowing capacity first. Speak to a broker, speak to a bank, speak to a consultant because we're there to help you. And then we can give you your borrowing capacity and that's what you can use to go shopping with. Mistake number 2. Now this one kind of follows on from the last one I just mentioned. This one is a lot of first home buyers actually spend too much on their first home. Now, it's one thing what you qualify for, but it's far more important to find out what you're comfortable spending and really what you should spend on a first home. Everybody wants the dream home. Everybody wants to have it exactly the way you see it in your head, but for your first home, try to make sure you don't spend too much. You don't want to be drowning in repayments. The biggest thing that I could do for you, and the way I look at things, is I would want you to spend as little as possible, get as much of what you want in that home as possible, and make the most money at the end of it. But try not to spend too much on your first home. Mistake number 3. Now, first home buyers should think practically, not emotionally, but we see far too many thinking emotionally. And this comes back down to picking that right floor plan for you, picking the right location. If you're thinking purely emotionally, you're just going to go out and go crazy. You're going to want the home, you're going to want everything in there, all the inclusions that you could ever imagine. But if you think practically, think about how much you can spend, think about the location. Do you need to be close to schools? Do you need to be close to shops? What is most important to you? So what I would suggest for this one, in order for you to stay thinking practically and not emotionally, make a list of all the main criteria that you need to meet in your home before you meet with a consultant or before you go and check out the displays. Because if you just turn up and speak to a consultant, then you're going to get caught in the emotional side of things. You're going to get excited, and that's when you probably stop thinking practically and just jump into whatever feels right at that time or whatever's most exciting. If you've got that list set first, then that's going to help you. You can use it as a bit of a checklist as you go. So think practically, not emotionally. Mistake number 4. Now, you need to ask more questions. And this goes down not just questions of the consultant, but questions of friends, family, anyone that has built before or bought a home before. Get as much knowledge as you can before making that final decision. From a consultant's perspective, I'm there and I try my very best to give you all the information you could possibly need. But we are human at the end of the day. There might be one thing that we might miss. But if you've got a lot of people helping you along the way and who can help you suggest to ask particular questions, then you're not going to miss anything. There's going to be no shocks, no surprises at the end of it. So ask more questions. If you're unsure, make sure you ask the question. Make sure you ask the consultant to explain something again if it didn't make sense, but make sure that you are willing to ask those questions, because otherwise it's going to get right to the end of the process and we might have missed something, or there might be a shock or a surprise. Mistake number 5. Now this one might come across as some sales pitch to make you jump in and do something now, but the biggest mistake for first home buyers right now is to do nothing, especially with the market where it is. Right now we're in a pretty quiet market, right? So prices come down, there's promotions, there's a lot of incentives available. So the biggest mistake you could make right now is to do nothing. Because if you do choose to wait a year, 2 years, 3 years, however long it may be, the market is going to start to pick up. And when that happens, prices rise, you're going to start paying more for what you could get today for a whole lot less. So I know that sounds very salesy for you guys to jump in and do something now, but it is the truth. The biggest mistake you could do is do nothing. So whether it is with me, whether it is with someone else, whether you're building, buying established, whatever it may be, make sure you at least look into it soon, because you may miss the boat. And in a few years' time, you might not be able to do anything if things change. So that's the biggest mistake you could make right now, is to do nothing.